get further information, and then you'll speak to Sharon on how you can book and make payment. Our tutor can start. Thank you so much, Engineer Kendrick.
Thank you, Sharon. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear.
Yes, we can hear.
Thank you. Perfect. Right. Let me try to share my screen. Please once you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. Thank you. Right. So maybe by way of introduction for those who don't know me, so my name is Engineer Kendrick. In terms of academic qualifications, I have a master's in risk management and insurance, and a master's in financial engineering. Then for undergrad, I did a BCom in financial mathematics and economics. All right. So for today's session, we're going to try and answer the question 1 from this case study from Mancosa. So please forgive me. I'm going to assume that everyone if I managed to go through the case study. So I don't want to spend much of your time going through the case study, but maybe we'll try to link to the case study as we answer question 1.1. Okay, so let's get into today's business. Question 1.1, it says, define the concept of price elasticity of demand, in brackets PED. So price elasticity of demand is also known as, in short, as PED, and explain its importance in understanding how consumers respond to change in maize prices. 5 marks. So we want to try and get all the 5 marks this evening. So the first mark will come from defining what is price elasticity of demand. So price elasticity of demand, it measures the sensitivity of quantity demanded of a product following a change in price of that particular product, ceteris paribus, or holding all other factors constant. So by holding all other factors constant, we mean other factors will not change. The only factor that is changing and shaping the demand of maize is the price on, and the assumption is everything else will remain the same. So with that being said, we've already scored 1 mark. Then we can proceed also, is still part of the definition. We can proceed to state the formula for calculating the PED, which is calculated as PED is equals to percentage change in quantity demanded. Percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. So that is the formula for calculating T. All right. So with that said, we have answered the first part of the question, which is to define the concept of price elasticity of demand. Now moving on to the second part of the question, which is saying explain its importance in understanding how consumers respond to changes in maize prices. Okay, so if we read from the first paragraph here from our case study, which says South Africa's maize production is faced significant challenges in 2024, with a 19% decrease in the harvest due to midsummer drought exacerbated by El Nino conditions. The crop estimates commit projects a maize production of approximately 13.3 to 13.4 million tons, down from the previous season's 6.4 million tons. Despite this reduction, the country is expected to meet its domestic maize consumption needs, which are estimated at around 12 million tons annually, leaving a surplus for exports, though at a much lower level compared to previous years. So let me go back to question 1.1, second part. Let me rephrase this question. So in other words, this question is saying, explain the importance of South Africa understanding how consumers responded to changes in maize prices. So the consumers being referred to in this case, if we're looking at national level, so at South Africa's level, we're concerned about the people from other countries who come to South Africa to buy maize. Then let's take it back to a personal level. In other words, we're saying explain the importance of you as a farmer understanding how consumers respond to changes in maize prices. So we have noted that from the case study, due to drought, our maize harvest is decreased to around 13.4 to around 13.3 to 13.4 million tons from 16.4 million, which was from the previous year. So, given that in that situation, there will be sort of like in terms of exporting, because we were told that South Africa will be able to cater for its citizens with about which demands about 12 million tons. So to cater for the export market, I think in this case, is stated in the case that there will be a shortage in the market. Then having that shortage, automatically it means we have to increase the price. But for us to increase the price, we should not do that blindly. We need to understand the elasticity of demand for our maize product. So why is it important to understand the price elasticity of demand concept? Right. One of the reasons why we need to understand elasticity of demand, for example, as a seller of maize, would want to manage our revenue. So if demand for maize is inelastic, then it means consumers, they are less price sensitive, which means that a price rise will also result in an increase in our total revenue, or in your total revenue as the farmer. So with that said, it means if demand is inelastic, the farmer will need to increase prices in order to maximize revenue and ultimately to maximize profit. So one of the reasons is to manage our revenue, or it informs a pricing strategy which would help to maximize our revenue. Then the second reason could be to understand the availability of substitutes for maize to understand if our maize product is substitutes in the market. So in that case, if there are a lot of substitutes for maize in the market, it means that demand for maize will be elastic. So it means in this case, consumers are more price sensitive. Any movement in price would result in a significant drop in quantity demanded. So with that said, if there are more substitutes in the market, then it means for the farmer or for South Africa to boost its revenue from exports of maize, means the country or yes to lower the price of maize so that we create demand, because naturally guided by the law of demand, when price rises, we expect demand to fall, or the opposite holds water. So that is another reason, which is understanding the availability of substitutes in the market. Then the other reason also, why is it important to understand the concept of elasticity of demand? So it also helps in terms of business planning. So when given this decline in maize harvest due to El Nino drought, sorry, so given this decline in maize harvest, which was increased by the El Nino conditions, you would expect to have like a decline in maize production. Then as buyers or as sellers, as sellers of maize, we need to understand in advance how our consumers would likely to react if we adjust our prices. So in order for us to do that, we would need to understand the PED concept. So in summary, we're saying understanding PED, it helps in business planning. It helps in informing the pricing strategy, which helps to maximize revenue. It also helps in understanding the nature of our product. That is, in understanding whether our product is substitutes in the market. So with that said, I think we have answered the first part. We have answered both the first part of defining PED and the second part of explaining its importance. So we should be able to get our 5 marks. So that is the definition, 1 mark; stating the formula, another mark; then explaining the importance, give at least 3 reasons, 1 mark for each reason. I think for today's meeting, we can end here. Unless if you have any question, please feel free to ask before we end the call. You can always ask. Even if we end the call, you can always ask through our admin. Thank you.
Hi, can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Is it a must to write a table of content on our assignment?
Yes. So when answering, when writing your final submission to the to be marked by Mancosa, you have to include your cover page. From your cover page, you have to include your table of contents. Then also you should number your pages. Then also please take note, when I was explaining the answer to this question, I was not touching on the issue of references. So whatever we're going to submit, we should reference our work. But for today's lecture, that was not the scope, and we should cover it in the next section. Next session.
Okay, one last one. When we reference, since with this case that I think we just only have like few reference, does Mencosa allow us to source out the reference from other like case studies or other textbook, or we only have to use the ones that are on the case study?
Okay. Yes, you are allowed to use external references in addition to your case study.
Oh, okay. No problem. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. But I'm not able to see who is raising the hand. You can go ahead.
Um, uh, Good evening, guys. Okay, from the marking rubric, I see that 1.1 on the criteria for 5 marks, it stated that accurate definition of PED and its relevance to maize market. Okay.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Um, I was asking about 1.1 because I don't want us to state 3, whereas they only mention the accurate definition of PED and its relevance to maize market for the 5 marks.
Yes.
If we go to the
So
rubric.
yes. So if you go to the rubric, so the accurate definition, in other words, you have to correctly define what is PED, including stating the formula, and that should give you 2 marks. Then for explaining the reasons, each reason well explained should be able to give you
Okay.
1 mark. So if you are not the other tricky, if you are not comfortable with your definition of PED, assuming you're writing it on your own, if you're not comfortable with the definition of PED, then you better have at least 4 reasons for explaining the importance of PED, so that you get off all the 5 marks. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any further questions? Please feel free to ask.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing very well.
I want to ask regarding this class. I understand today you were doing a kind of piloting your work. So I want to check on your next section. Are we gonna cover all the questions with referencing and the way how we should write it, the table of content, and also the format that they wanted Mincosa? Or it's gonna be short lessons every day?
Right. You're 100% correct. Confirmed. So in the next session, we're going to cover everything, starting from your cover page, going to your table of contents, going to the issue of referencing and the referencing style that is wanted by Mancosa, including the changing of the font names to the font names that are required by Mancosa, up to the list of references. So for the next session, we'll be guiding each other on how to write a proper assignment, which is yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I wanted to ask you.
Okay. Hopefully you have answered. It's been answered. Any more questions?
Yeah,
So let
please.
me stop sharing my screen. Yes, you can proceed.
Okay, so my question is based on when you're listing the importance of the second part of the question, when you're listing the importance of the elasticity, do you have to explain? Let's say, for example, you said one of the importance of that is to manage revenue. Do you need to just write the revenue, or do you need to elaborate on that?
Right. For you to get the full mark, would expect you to state, in addition to that, you have to explain briefly so that you earn all your full marks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
I also have a
The,
question before we close. Will these phonics help us with the micro subjects or with other subjects as well?
yes, it does help you with the other subjects. You can always get that information from our admin. There are a lot of areas
Okay,
that
thank
we
you.
cover.
Actually, there's going to be a assignment class for
Sorry,
microeconomics.
can I please
Right.
ask a question
Yes, you can
quickly
go
before we
ahead.
close? Okay, so it's not regarding microeconomics. Now, I want to ask about business finance. Just a quick question. So regarding the referencing there, do we need to reference? Because I don't think there's any like, pardon? Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, hopefully it has been answered. Yeah, so for business finance, we are going to have a separate class for that, which will also cover the issue of referencing. Should you need in assistance in terms of referencing? Then there are a few questions from the case study. When you watch the videos from YouTube to understand how you should reference. So there are online sources which would help us to convert our like you just paste your YouTube link and that should help you to create your reference in whatever style that you would like to reference your work, be it Harvard style, be it APA, be it other referencing styles. So we'll touch on that. Would it be a problem if I use the case study textbook alone? Uh, it's not really a problem, but the issue will come in now with the concerning the minimum number of references that are expected. So for this case study, we would expect at least five references from textbooks or from peer-reviewed journals. All right. So I think I've touched on all the questions that are in the chat. So in the absence of further question, would well, let me check the chat. Okay, so in the absence of further questions, I would like to thank you all for joining. Please enjoy what remains of your evening and have a good night. Thank you.